More sound even. Great. Welcome. Glad you're here. Glad I'm here. This is my third DrupalCamp. I'm sorry, DrupalCamp Spain. And this is the first time I'm on stage because Montagna kept on bugging me, please do a presentation at our DrupalCamp in Spain. So here I am presenting a story about a Scrum Master, which is me, about a hackathon, Scrum, Agile, and chicken. Pollo. These are some facts about me. I'm a big fan. One of the Spanish words I learned too is balonmano. I've been practicing. I'm not quite into Drupal anymore. I'm sorry. I used to be for 6 years. I've been working for different Drupal companies, Drupal agencies. I've been a project manager, I've been a support manager, but also I've been a Scrum Master for a couple of years now. And I'm loving Skit. He's also always here. This is his fourth DrupalCamp Spain, since DrupalCon London. And for less than a year, I'm a Scrum Master at Vakant Select now. I'm a dedicated Scrum Master there, so I do nothing else than being a Scrum Master. What I will be covering today, I will be talking about my company, what I do there as a Scrum Master, and how we make our journey to agility work. What I use, what techniques I use to move people into agility, how to motivate knowledge workers, and of course something about hackathon and chicken. A little bit about Vakant Select. It is a glamping company. Glamping is short for glamorous camping. So as you can see, this is a tent with 2 stories, and it has air conditioning and a bathroom and everything in it. And they still call it camping. It's on a campsite with a pool and all. People come here with their families and want to have the camping experience, but it's more like a hotel, basically on a campsite. We do this in 14 countries all over Europe. We also have a Spanish site, so you can check it out if you like. And the funny thing about Vakant Select is that it's an agile company in core. We started out 30 years ago, which is kind of a long time, and it's a family organization. So there are a couple of brothers who started the company, or actually it was one brother, but the other brothers got involved in the meantime. And so we're a very warm and family-loving company, but next to that we're also very innovative and are very good at changing to what's happening in the outside world. We started out being just a campsite. When the campsite got full, we started out booking at other campings, and then we thought, okay, we can do this. So we moved from Italy back to Holland again, and then we started out a booking office for all kinds of campsites all over Europe. Then they figured out we have to make our own accommodations, so they started making these kinds of tents. After that, in Holland, we became the first company who had a website on which you could book holidays. In 1999, so that was fairly early to have a website on which you could book holidays. So we reinvented the company about 5 times. And then the crisis hit, the crisis also hit in Holland, so we had to reinvent again. At this point we have a lot of departments. We have a customer service, we have a development department, we have all kinds of departments, and it isn't very agile. So we had to do something to become more agile. So we've been looking around to other e-commerce companies to find out how we could improve our agility. So, and then Scrum came into light, and they said, okay, this is the way that we should do it. So in October 2015, so not that long ago, they started to transform the whole development department, which are 16 people in 3 development teams, to work completely through the Scrum framework. I'm on holiday now, so I'm not going to explain the Scrum framework in its whole, because I do that all day when I'm at work, and well, this is my holiday, so if you really want to and ask me nicely, I can explain it to you afterwards. No problem at all. But I will take you through some Scrum values and Scrum basics. The thing what I will explain is the Scrum pillars. This is basically where the Scrum Guide starts. You have to be transparent, and what you do constantly is inspect and adapt. This is the basis, the very basis of what Scrum is all about. Inspect and adapt, inspect and adapt. And that way you can make teams fly. It's all about feedback. This is what we do for the people who's familiar with Scrum. Most of the people, okay, thank you. That helps. Then I won't have to explain what a daily Scrum is all about. At this point we have 5 Scrum teams, 3 development teams and 2 non-development teams who do Scrum on a daily basis. And every day they do a daily Scrum. What did we do yesterday? What are we going to do today? And are there any problems for making our sprint work? For reaching our goal. So that's feedback within the team. After 2 weeks or 1 week, depending on the team, we have 1 week sprint teams and 2 week sprint teams. We do a retrospective in which we inspect and adapt our own team, the teamwork, the communication, the techniques, everything that went good and everything that went bad, and the things we have to work out to make it better. Also, in the same 2 week cyclist, we have the sprint review. We do a demo for the entire company, which is very cool. Everyone tends to come, so that's awesome. In which we embed the stakeholders to show them this is what we built. Are we still building what you think has the highest priority? Are we delivering value? So that's from the team feedback loop to the whole company feedback loop. What we added to the Scrum framework in the basis is the roadmap sessions. This is with all the stakeholders, all the managers from all the departments. We have a physical analog roadmap with all the epics on it for everything we have to work on. And every month, so every 4 weeks, so for the development teams it's every 2 sprints, they look at the roadmap and decide what epics should go first in our backlog. So we have this every month with the whole company again, with the stakeholders. Tell us, what do you think will deliver the most value if we work on it the coming 2 sprints? Our ultimate goal, though, is the responsive enterprise. We would love to have the feedback loops with our customers, but also with our partners who are campsite owners, because we also resell accommodations from campsites. So we want to be a truly responsive enterprise. We want to have frequent feedback loops with our customers, frequent feedback loops with our partners, so we can become truly responsive. We're not there yet. Well, what did we do then? I will take a tiny sidestep to the new Scrum values. I don't know if you quite know it, but the Scrum Guides changed a little bit in June last year. And they added some extra values. And I think they match perfectly with our Drupal community. It's about openness, it's about courage, setting a stage, it's about having respect for each other, it's about focus. These 2 weeks are set in concrete. This is where we work on. So please have that focus and commitment. We commit to deliver the value. If you take this into account, what should the Scrum Master do? I've got the new values, I've got the pillars of all the feedback loops. I've got the idea of becoming a fully responsive enterprise. Basically what I do, if I don't know what to do anymore, I turn to the almighty Scrum Guide. Because it tells me everything, right? Especially the part Scrum Master, which is only 1 page, basically, what I do. Easiest job in the world, right? When you look at what the Scrum Master service to the organization is, is that you're also, next to, of course, helping the team grow and flourish and being a servant leader and being a coach and a mentor and all kinds of stuff that I am, you also are causing change. Hey, now it becomes fun, right? So, as a Scrum Master, I'm committed to changing my company. That's cool. In several ways. And it doesn't say anything about how to do it. It's basically a blank page. Just do it. Most of the time, that's the best way to do it, right? So I was thinking, how can I motivate people to do change or to change? Because, as you all might know, everybody wants change, but nobody wants to be changed, right? So how do you motivate people from the inside out to deliver change, to make that happen? What I normally, that's my second Bible. My first Bible is a Scrum Guide, of course, but my second Bible is Drive by Daniel Pink. He has a great TED Talk. It's only 18 minutes. You should look him up if you search for Daniel Pink, The Puzzle of Motivation. You will be fine. How to motivate people. He has a basic idea based on all kinds of studies, and it's so simple. I love it. This is what it looks like. To have people motivated, some people say, hey, I'm missing the money here. Money is important for people to be motivated to go to their job every day, but it's not the pure reason why they get up every morning to go to work. So money has to be out of the way, so you have to have enough salary to not worry about it, but it's never a motivator. The thing that really motivates us is mastery. I'm good at what I do. I keep on improving what I'm doing. I'm going to Drupal camps to improve my Drupal skills. And I've got colleagues to have peer reviews on what I'm doing. So mastery is very important. Next to that, autonomy. I want to decide how I do what I do best. That's basically for everyone who does work with their heads, or their laptops for that matter, autonomy is very important. And also, we really would like to have purpose. Why do we all code on Drupal modules? Why do we do it? Because we want to belong to something that is bigger than us. Why do people work for NGOs? Because they want to do something for the bigger good. Why do people run marathons for sick children? Because you want to do something for the bigger good. You need to have purpose. The purpose of our company is having people, letting people have a great holiday. That's our purpose. And in the sweet spot over here, this is where your motivation comes from. If these things are in order, you are motivated from inside out. And then that's where you get value. Okay. Which led me to my first hackathon. Okay, I thought, well, if developers really need autonomy, mastery and purpose, what would happen if I would tell them for a week to do whatever they like? What would happen? So that's what I did in October. I gave them a couple of rules. Hackathon is another together hacking and marathon, but I think that's basic knowledge here in this room. Please do something you really like, or you get energy from, or where you get happy. One of the first engineers I asked if you could do anything you like for 1 week. What would you do? He said, get rid of technical debt. So he did. He worked on for a whole week on technical debt. Well, that's awesome, right? Everybody knows that's value. But most of the stakeholders won't be willing enough to give an engineer a whole week time to remove all the old code and refactoring and stuff like that. It has something to do with the company. Could be anything. If you want to build a rocket or to put up a campsite on the moon, please do so. You can work alone, But of course, that's not fun, right? And, well, you can read the other things. At the end of the week, on Friday afternoon, my 16 developers had pulled off 12 projects. So they delivered 12 projects to the rest of the company. We invited everyone to come over and have a look. The whole company, 80 people, came and looked at what our developers had done for a week. So that was awesome. That's basically what I've been talking about already. Yeah. And very important, the management team was overwhelmed by the value, because we really delivered some great value that week. Now, this was a success, now what? I was like, okay, so I was hoping for a hackathon of 2 days, and I got a week. Well, that was the development company. What would happen if I would try this with the whole company? 80 people. Let's try some courage. So I went to the management team and I said, okay, I want to do this with the whole company for a week. And they were like, okay, you can do that. That was the weirdest day of my career yet. So what I did in March this year, we had a hackathon with the whole company for a week. The first hackathon was fairly doable for one person, right? It was 16 developers, 3 teams. I managed the teams, or I don't manage them. I Scrum Master the teams already, so that wasn't too hard. But I thought, okay, 80 people, that might become a bit more difficult by my own. So I formed a guild. I don't know if any of you know the Spotify model. You can look it up. It's really awesome. It's a way of scaling Scrum, basically. I made a use of a thing they call guilds. We did guerrilla marketing actions, which I'll show you more about later. And, well, we had some basic steps to make this work. When we started with our guild, this is my hackathon guild, we were hoping that 20 non-technical colleagues would join in, and that they would deliver 5 non-technical projects. Because if you ask a developer, do something for a week, anything you like, they start coding right away. But if you tell that to someone who's at the customer desk handling phone calls of incoming customers, they're like, sorry, what? I'm not quite sure what to do. So we really needed some tender loving care to get everybody started. So what we did, we had a little logo in the form of some people call it a light bulb, and some people call it a chicken. And that's basically what it is. It was in March, at the beginning of spring. So that's why we had the little chicken as a logo for a hackathon. At first I hand cut them myself. We have had more than 100 magnets, and we put them all over the company, everywhere. Nobody knew what it was. So they were like, what's up with the chicken? And it's Easter, that's in April, right? That's not yet, so what's going on? And then we started out hanging up all kinds of text. What would you do if you were the boss of Vakant Select for one day? All kinds of text. Everybody knew it wasn't possible until someone came who didn't know that. All kinds of inspirational text to get everybody thinking. And after that, we announced the hackathon. And this is what it looked like when we did the pitches. Someone is pitching over here. I'm making the photo over there. And at the Monday morning of the hackathon, there were 25 people doing a pitch, which is basically, we are an 80 people company, so that's more than a quarter of my colleagues stood there for 90 seconds promoting their idea. And for me, it's not, of course I'm nervous, but it's not that hard to stand on a podium and open my mouth. But for a lot of my colleagues, that was a big thing, to stand there in front of all of their colleagues and tell them their ideas. And basically, that was Monday morning, 9:30, and that was a really a big winner for me already. What we did every morning was having a stand-up. As you can see, we had a board with all the ideas hanging there, and people could join in by writing down their names. And we had a stand-up with 40 to 50 people every day, within 15 minutes, by the way. That's the power of the Scrum Master. You can do it in 15 minutes. And we basically did the usual stand-up style. What have you done yesterday? What are you going to do today? And do you need help? And that worked like a charm. I want to share some of the projects. And I'm going to check my time. I'm right in time. Sorry for the dark picture. I couldn't find a lighter one. This is the Eco-Acco team. These are the people who are responsible for ecological deployment, development of new accommodations, the tents that we are building. And what they wanted to do, they wanted to make a prototype of a CO2 neutral accommodation. So with solar panels and all kinds of stuff. So they worked for a week, and at the end of the week they had a proof of concept for the Eco-Acco. And actually our owner, Luke, said, okay, we are going to build this summer. So that's awesome, right? This is the happy people. We also got bribed at the ICT department. Can you please build us something? We also had a project called the Happy to Haves. Because most of the time when we are building things in our booking system, there are always the must-haves and the should-haves. But there are a lot of end users who want really easy, tiny little things that helps them a lot, but never win in a roadmap session or anything because they don't deliver enough value. So they made their own list of all kinds of small features and things that would help them, and they bribed some of the programmers to build it for them. So the programmers, I think they had, at the end of the week, 24 Happy to Haves released in the software we use. This is also a lovely story, I think. This is Jan. This is Claudia, by the way. This is Jan. He's an account manager. He works at DrupalCamp for more than 20 years now. And Jan is an email printer. He prints everything. In November, coming year, or this year, coming November, we are going to move with the whole company to a one-level office, because now we're on 8 floors. But we're going, because of the agile transition, we want to be on 1 floor. He knows he's going to have to get rid of this. This is only a small portion. This is Jan's archive. He started out with a small one, but he got a bigger one. The thing was, he said, I want to have a clean-up challenge. I've got so much in my archives, but I don't know where to start on my own. Can please somebody help me clean up this mess? So I think, all in all, 8 colleagues helped out and cleaned out all the closets, and brought the paper to some charity somewhere, and split all the plastics from it. And at the end of the week, they were all empty. So we made a mini library out of it. But the thing was that Jan really didn't know how to cope with it. And because of the hackathon, somehow with a little help from a couple of colleagues, he made it work. This was also very nice. Our head of HR, Susanna, said, okay, so we're going to move at the end of this year. We would really like to know what you think the office should look like. And this was the presentation at the end of the week of how our new office is going to look like, made by various colleagues from various departments. And the funny thing was, a couple of weeks after the hackathon, there came a stylist, and she had made a mood board, which was 90% looking the same as the thing that we did in the hackathon. So this is what our new office is going to look like in November. I have a lot of more success stories to tell you, but this is an overview of all the things we did in that week. and there are even more, but magic happens. We thought, like I told you earlier, that it would be nice if 20 colleagues joined in. 75 did. And it would be nice if we had 5 projects, and we delivered 25 projects. So that was really awesome. And the funny thing also, we've got a lot of moms who work part-time and have a day off on Friday. And people were coming to the office and bringing their kids because they didn't want to miss the end sprint and the presentations. So we had loads of fun. What we learned. I already really believed in the model of Daniel Pink. That when you give people autonomy, mastery and purpose, that magic will happen. But I never imagined that it would grow this big, and it was awesome. And I've got a colleague of mine who was near burnout, and I saw her smile that week. And that just made it for me as a Scrum Master. The courage grew within the people. People become more brave and more, the managers changed. They really saw that if I give people autonomy and let people figure out for themselves what they're best at, that makes teams and people grow. So the hackathons really boosted our journey to the full agile company. And what I learned is that it's basically what I've been seeing in the Drupal community for years. I've been at several DrupalCons, seeing rooms full of people doing sprints because they do what they love and they love what they do. So why shouldn't you embed that within your company? Why is everybody doing this in his free time? Please, the whole idea about what you do in the Drupal community, try to bring that inside your company because it's so powerful and so great. And those 3 things are really the drive behind great things. But what about the chicken? Well, you have seen the little chicken, of course. About 4 or 5 weeks prior to the hackathon, a colleague of mine said, "So you're going to wear a chicken suit, right?" And I, with my big mouth, I said, "Oh, sure." So I came into the office that Monday of the hackathon, and my suit was there. So this is what I ended up walking around in the office all week. This is the owner of our company, and as you can see, he really likes the chicken. And last thing he said on Friday afternoon, let's go for the next hackathon. And my dreams for the next hackathon is that we try to get students to join in and try to make even more great things happen. Choose a job you love and you'll never have to work a day in your life. I've got the greatest job in the world. I can do anything I like and I can make great things happen, and that's awesome. Thank you very much.
Hi, awesome.
Hey.
Awesome job, awesome presentation, thank you. And how do you deal with the normal daily job during this whole week for the whole company hackathon?
Well, the good thing is that if we could lay down the work and just only do the hackathon, then something would be terribly wrong in the company. Of course, the phone must be answered. When the websites go down, they have to be brought up again. So the normal operational stuff just went on. And people were able to join in 1 day, 2 hours, 3 days, just depending on how much they could make free of their normal operational work. So, but prior to the hackathon, I had a lot of conversation with all the managers, and all the managers promised me that everyone could have at least 2 days to join in, next to their normal work. So that's the way we handled it.
Great talk. Yeah.
Thank you.
How do you face like transmitting the Scrum values to the whole company? Like, you recommend literature or
It's
by talks or?
it's like eating an elephant. It's one bite at a time, right? So luckily for me, I'm going to have another colleague. So there's an extra Scrum Master coming in, which I really like because 5 teams is way too much. I basically do 3 now. I do a lot of workshops. I do a lot of talks, one-on-ones with the whole company because 80 is doable, right? If you roam around the people and just have a cup of coffee somewhere, and people know how to find me. So if they do have Scrum questions, they come to me. So basically, walk around a lot as a Scrum Master within the organization when the team is dealing with its sprints and everything is going okay there and there are no impediments. I just use my time for the rest of the organization to educate and to teach them more about the Scrum values.
So the technical teams first?
In my case it is, yeah, technical team first, yeah.
Okay, thank you.
No more questions. Oh, one more.
Thanks for the inspiration. I just want either work for your company or create the Spanish fork of it.
Well, we do have a Spanish office, but we're insourcing everything back to Holland again. So yeah, so I do have a couple of Spanish colleagues working in Holland, and yeah. So I'm not quite sure if we have open vacancies in the Spanish office. I don't think so. Sorry.
Yep. Hi, thanks for the talk. You made it sound very easy when you organized all the hackathon. You went to the managers, you asked, and basically they were like, yeah, okay, go with it. But the reality is that in most companies that won't be as easy. So how would you approach that? Or what arguments did you wield to make this happen?
Well, I do have to explain that there's a slight difference, I think, between Northern European countries and Southern European countries, because Southern European countries tend to be more hierarchical. You know what I mean, okay. While in Holland, where I come from, it's quite easy to go to your manager and say, sorry, but I don't like this, or I'm not quite sure if we're going on the right track. So maybe it's easier in the northern of Europe. I can imagine that. The proof is in eating the pudding. So I think by showing what I can, how I can help people to really accelerate in what they are doing, that I showed the managers that you can grow teams and you can grow people if you give them the autonomy. And basically the first hackathon really was a showcase of what can be possible, so that helped a lot. And also we have great management who is really agile in core, because they have been changing the company for so many times already, that they know that if you stand still, you're going backwards, right? So you have to move forward and have to try new things to get better at what you do. So proving that when you enforce people and engage people in finding their own best ways to do stuff, that's the way I helped management to get the insight that that's the best way to do it. Does that answer to your question? Okay. Anything else?
Just to share a thought.
Mm-hmm.
The other day I was talking to my sister who worked for a big hierarchical Southern Europe big company, telecom, and she's telling me that they are introducing agile processes in their workflow.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm just wondering if these kind of organizations are maybe having or keeping an eye on what others we are doing, probably because they are starting to foresee that we are just more efficient. I mean, just to share the thought, the Linux kernel, which is the most popular free and open source base code, is everywhere. It's in our pockets, in the planes, in cars, in embedded systems. So I think that, well, just to share the thought.
Yeah, thank you. Well, I have been an old school Prince 2 project manager I have done that before, and I just found out that it just doesn't work. And you cannot think of if you're working on a big website, and you make some sort of plan for, okay, this is what it's going to be, this is what it's going to look like. Within 2 months, the whole world has changed, and the whole thing is just you can put it in the trash. So I think you just have to feel why agile, and Scrum is just a way to be agile. You can use Kanban, you can use all kinds of other stuff. It doesn't matter what you use, but the whole thing of small iterations and continuous feedback loops and inspect and adapt, that's when you create the real value, and not by doing it the old school way of Prince 2, I think. But, yeah.
Hello, thank you for the talk. It was good. I was thinking if you have ever the experience with remote teams, working with them, and if you have any, I don't know, advice or something, or it's different, or...
I have been working with remote teams at a former company where I worked, from India, and I found it very hard because communication is so much more than just talking to each other through a screen. There are a lot of companies where it works like a charm, but people really have to have that remote working ethic in their DNA, I guess. And it asks for a typical kind of skill set to be able to communicate on long distances. The people I work with at my company come in every day, and we work in teams, and we walk over to each other, and we drink coffee together when we go for walks outside. And I think, especially when you look at team dynamics and group dynamics, and the walk in the park during the lunch does so much good for your team development, and you miss that when you have remote teams. So I know it can work, but I like it more to have a team on the location itself because of that.
Thank you.
If anyone has any more questions, I'll be at the party tonight, of course. So let's have a beer then there if you want to know anything more. Thank you very much.